What if I told you that you could create your very own lead generation CRM? Something that could not only bring all your leads into one place, but actually find leads for you. That is exactly what we're building in today's tutorial. Hey there, my name's Isaac and I'm a web designer, copywriter and marketer with over 10 years of experience in the space. Not only have I been, building websites for clients, but I also have in the last year and a bit also ventured into creating my very own apps. I've created apps for, actual real apps for small business owners, and I've created internal apps for myself for, using to, find clients for outreach and everything in between. Whether you're a freelance or agency, web designer, SEO specialist, copywriter, or brand strategist, this video is for you, because in this tutorial I'm going to be walking you through exactly step by step how to build your very own lead generation CRM. So this is not just going to be, a basic walkthrough. This is going to be based off a real application that I use personally myself as a web designer to get web design clients that I've, refined and, decided that instead of keeping it to myself, I wanted to, share it, and then you guys could go through and create your very own application. In this video, you're going to be learning to create your very own web scraper that's going to be able to go through and scrape and find real business, small businesses across. Doesn't matter what country you're in or what city you're looking to target. This is going to be able to find leads across any niche that are going to bring you through real businesses that you can then offer your services to. On top of that, you're also going to be able to bring in a screenshot ability to bring in leads, CSV uploads, a full CRM that you can use for tracking your leads, and so much more. A lot of time went into ensuring that this tutorial is going to be as valuable as I could possibly make it, and completely free. Down below you're going to see the full prompt back of exactly what you need to recreate this yourself, so you can go through and start finding and generating your very own leads and bringing them all into one central hub. I'm super excited to share this with you guys, and let's get started. Okay, so before I get into the tutorial, I just thought it would be important to show you guys, inside of Base44, why I even recommend them, and proof that I genuinely actually have built out apps with it myself, and not just built out apps, but ones that actually have real paying clients and are out there in the marketplace being used by real businesses and that. So I come here with a background of nearly 10 years in web design, marketing, copywriting, as well as digital marketing, and just understanding the digital space essentially. And so when I got into Base44 around a year ago now, a year and a bit ago, I'd seen the ads, I'd seen all the different things, and I finally decided to have a go, because I've already got the background and the understanding of these sorts of things, but I just didn't know what I just wanted to give it a go. And I was absolutely really blown away by what I was able to achieve. It started off with a very basic app that I built for my web design, in my web design business, that I was using for a reviews app. So I built that out, and then from there it just kept scaling, and now I've got my own app here. So this is my main one, that I don't want to show it fully, because I don't want, obviously for purposes of protecting my own IP, I'm not going to fully show it, but essentially, I've developed an app that allows small businesses to, as a missed call text back, and it allows them to, it automatically responds. It has a lot more than that, but that is what I've built, and it is really using it for my own, it's something that I can give to small businesses. I already work with small businesses, being a web designer, so it was a natural fit, because it's something that they need. And so I was able to go through and develop that in here, and that's got real paying clients. But that is not the only app I've built. I've also built out another one here, this one here. I've also built in the process. That's launching soon. So that's an actual official app that's going to go on the App Store on both iOS and Android, and that's close to launching soon. I've got my own lead CRM, which we're going to be building today, that I use for my own outreach, for for finding clients. And even not long ago, before recording this video, I just got another client through it. I'm always finding new leads through it. And you guys today, I've made this tutorial to be as valuable as I humanly possibly could make it. That's what I'm all about when I make tutorials. And, this is easily the most valuable one that I could share, because especially you out there that are watching it, because you are a web designer, you're going to see how powerful it is to be able to build your own CRM. Because that's probably, for a lot of you out there, that's probably a big reason that, that one of the biggest things, bottlenecks that you need help with, especially at the beginning. So that's why we're going to be building out that. But I just wanted to share that with you so you understand, hey, I'm not just like, not trying to talk down other, YouTubers making tutorials on that. They're valuable, some of them out there, but I was able to see they haven't always actually built their own apps, and things like that. So, I wanted to bring in my expertise of having built real apps that are really being used by actual business owners as well. So, I've used it for all different things, but the main ones are, it's incredible for building your own personal, software for, CRMs, for your own business, and obviously for creating things for other businesses that you can then charge for. So at the end of this video, you're going to come away, like I've said at around the intro, leave this with a genuinely, like, you're not just going to get your own CRM software that you can use to get your own web design clients, or just understanding how to even have your own CRM. Doesn't matter if you're not a web designer, but you're also going to have a very valuable skill that once you understand this, the world's your oyster, and you're going to understand why Base44 can be so powerful, because, you really can create almost anything, once you understand how to use it. Is Base44 perfect? No. Is there anything that in this world that is perfect? Definitely not. It's still got its quirks and its little things, but it is, for what it does and the setup of it and everything, it is, I've tried it. I've tried many of the builders. I've tried many of the AI, low code things like this. This is the one I've come back to and stuck with. So that's why I'm recommending them out there. And yeah, I just wanted to have that quick little overview for you guys, so you know that this is a real genuine tutorial. This is not just me blowing smoke, just trying to get us some affiliate links. This is because I genuinely know it's valuable. It's been valuable for me, and now I want to teach you guys how to use it as well. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's now go into actually going through and setting up our app. So now officially into building out our app. So the first thing you're obviously going to have to do is sign up for Base44. Now you're going to see at the top here, I'm going to have a link down below. I'm going to have it. It's going to be showing up right now on the, on the screen there. If you just go to isaacdesign.digital/Base44, that is going to allow you to sign up, and you're going to go through and set up for an account. You can get started for free. I'm going to walk you through in a moment as my recommendations as well, my genuine recommendations as well, of like what plan to put yourself on after you've gone through free for a bit. But yeah, that's a link up there. Of course, full transparency, it is an affiliate link, but just just see it as a way to support this channel, and for me to be able to keep creating completely free tutorials like this, where I truly plan to give as much value as I possibly can in this tutorial and future ones that I've got planned that are coming as well. So you don't have to use it, but if you're going to take value from this and it's for free, it's just that little way of saying thank you and helping to allow me to keep creating tutorials like this completely for free. So again, that is just isaacdesign.digital/Base44. I've got it linked in the description, in the comments, and on the screen there for you. Yeah, once you've done that, or you haven't done it, whatever you've done, go ahead and let's get yourself started. Okay, so then once you've done that, you've gone through the link or whatever you've done to get here, we're going to go through and we're going to start putting things in. Now, before I do just go into that, just so you know, because those of you that are going to start building out, on the free plan, you've signed up, this just quickly, me being authentic again, these are what I recommend in terms of, the different things. So you can definitely start on free if you like, and you're going to get 5 messages, and that, but you're going to find pretty quickly that you're going to go over the free. You get 5 a day, so you could come back, but you're going to find that we're going to exhaust that in this tutorial. So it's up to you. Do you want to wait around for each day to go through it, or you can go through and put yourself on a paid plan, when it feels right and natural for you. And what I recommend is this. As you can see, I personally use Builder. So it's $50 a month. You get 250 message credits and you get 10K integration credits. Now, let me explain what that means. 250 message credits means every time we send a message to the AI, that is 1 message credit. So far, you guys saw how many apps I've built. I have never really ever, only once actually, when I was deep into building out my response mode app, did I ever go over that cap of 250. It's very hard to go over. You don't need to do, 250 is hard to go over. That's all I'll say. Then there's 10K credits. That is more than enough. You guys saw I've got multiple apps. I've got real paying clients. And so far, I haven't even gone close to my 10K amount. Okay. So, that's just why I recommend that, because you're going to see with this app, we're going to be building out a pretty sophisticated one, but also, it's going to be approachable. You guys are going to be able to build it. But, you got the difference here. This is the one I genuinely recommend. You could maybe go starter. I started on that, but you're going to see it's 2K messages or 100 message credits. We could build the app out and you could get some clients on that and everything like that. But the thing is, you miss out on things like the back end functions, which quickly you'll find out you might want to use that, which is, I'll show you briefly that. If we go in and we can change things there, and, it just makes it easier for integrations like you're going to be seeing. So, $50 a month. And if that even gets you if you're coming here because you want to build a web designer, if they can get you 1 web design client, that's already paid for it, many times over. And also remember that you're going to get a skill by the end of this video. You can create multiple apps like you saw that I've done. They're making money, or am I just making me money in terms of actually finding clients? So for me, $50 a month is the best $50 a month I've probably ever spent on a software, to be honest. And that's genuine. And, that is what I'd recommend, is going through, this one here. I'm not saying that just because I'm an affiliate with them. You guys see, I genuinely use it, and that is a plan that I recommend. But I'm going to leave it completely up to you guys. You can start on free, play around, but you're going to find, like I said, that you're going to go through it pretty quick. But it's up to you what you want to do in terms of what feels comfortable to you. Okay, so that's done. Leave it up to you. Now let's get into building the app. Okay, so what I want you to do is down in the description, you're going to have access to this free prompt pack. Now, I've gone through and I have absolutely refined these so much. So essentially what I've done is I've reverse engineered the one that I built out and used for myself. And I've gone through and worked back and forth to refine these prompts to ensure that it has everything, and you guys can go through and build it out yourself. And I've built it into a phased approach. That's what we need to do, so that things are built correctly, not just, haphazardly building things. From having built many apps now, I know the process and I know what it takes. And, a lot of time went into making sure that these were very well written out and, built how you need to talk to the Base44 AI. Okay, so again, that is downloadable in the description. You don't have to give me your email or anything like that. It's just, I want to give it to you guys for free. Just watch it. Just open it, open this link, and then, let's get going. Okay, so once you've opened that, you're going to see there's a bit of an overview. Read it, but you've just seen me, I'll quickly explain it now. Because it basically explains what we're going to be building. It's going to be a CRM app that's going to be helping us to, find, be able to scrape the internet and find our own web design clients. But this will give you ideas. Even if you're not a web designer, you could think of ways you could use a website scraper, a CRM scraper like this, and as well as just a CRM in general that you could start, building out and using it for your own business and everything like that. So, we're going to go through and it's going to be able to find our own business leads, organizing them, tracking leads, capturing leads from screenshots. That's going to be massive for you. And then viewing key business metrics through a dashboard. So, everything we need. And you guys have already seen a bit of a walk through the app that we're going to be building, but I'm just briefly overviewing it again for you there, those that might skip things and things like that. And then here we go before you begin. So copy each prompt exactly as written, complete one phase movement before the next, teach each section before, test each section before continuing. Don't paste multiple prompts together. Definitely don't do that. My early days with Base44, I used to think it's AI, it can do anything. So I'd give it these crazy long prompts, and then it would just pause out and it just couldn't handle it. It was too much for it to try and do. So we don't want to do too many prompts at once, and we don't want to give it too big of a prompt at once. We want to break it down and take it in phases and build it from there. Build the foundations, like we're building a house. We build the foundations, and then we build the framework, and then we build everything else around it. If you don't do those properly, then things don't, sync up and work well for us. Okay, and then let Base44 finish before you start the next. You can have me walking you through it all, but this is just for those you download. And there's some of you out there that even though you got this video, you're going to get excited and you're going to go ahead and try and do it without even this video. So I'm just, saying that now. Okay, and then we come down here, and then as you've seen here, recommend a business plan, Base44 plan. I recommend the build up. I'm not going to go any more into that. Basically overview of why, as I already said, why I recommend these guys. Okay, so you can read that on your own time if you want to. But what I want us to do now is actually go through and get started with building this app. Okay, so now we come down to the prompts, and we're going to go through and we're going to start with our first prompt. And this is our foundational one that is going to set everything else up. And this is going to get us, think of when you're building a house, you need to build the foundations, you need to build that frame foundations, then you build the frame, then you build the house around it. This is our absolute bare bones that we need to have to get everything stringed up and working. So this is one that we don't want to overlook. Okay, so we're going to start with this one here. So we're going to copy this one here. As you see, create a Base44 project called Lead Engine. This will be shared with you in 5 phases, starting with this first initial foundational prompt. Okay, so what I want to do is just simply hit Control C or Command C on that. And then we're going to go back here. I'm going to go into our Build Powerful Apps with Websites Fast. I want you to just copy and paste this into here, and I want you to just put that in and then simply hit Build Now. Okay, so we're going to just go through and let it do its thing. So you're going to see on the left here. So just while we're waiting for it to go ahead, you're going to see everything pops up here on the left. This is where we're going to talk to our Base44 AI, and we're going to allow it to, just go through and do everything that it needs to do. It looks like it might be wired up. Okay, is that all good to go? Yep, so it's got that, Every single app's going to look different, so you're going to look like a different logo here. Something's going to look different, but, you just need to, allow it to do its thing. So it's going through, building it out, and, we'll keep progressing. Usually it takes, when it's first building it out, it might take, depending on the size of the app, it might take a couple of minutes. It might take, 5 minutes, whatever. It can take a while the very first time it's generating the app. And I always think to myself, it's very exciting. You just never know exactly what it's going to look like the first time. I've given it parameters to, build out a good looking app and everything like that, and everything for you guys. But, it's just always exciting to see what we're going to come up with. So you can see here on the back end, it's going through, it's writing things, it's writing our components. You can see everything that it's going to and building for us, and we're going to have our own app showing up very soon. All right, guys, so There we go. So that is our app. Now yours is going to probably look a little bit different to this because we've just gone through the basics of putting in our foundational thing. We haven't gone through and refined the UI. Don't worry, Base44 is very good at refining the UI once you've got there. I'm going to help you guys to refine it to look more like the one that you saw at the beginning of the tutorial and everything like that. It's going to make it look very clean and everything. If that's something you actually even care about. If you're one of those people who just thinks, I just wanted to get me leads, I don't really care what it looks like, yeah, fine, that's fair enough as well. But don't worry about what it looks like right now. If you're one that does care, then, we're going to go through and I'll show you how to do that. But let's just firstly go through what we've got. So far, we've got the basics of the find leads. It's a very basic version and we haven't actually gone through and built out the find leads yet. We've got a lead CRM, so you're seeing how it's going to show up. It's got some example ones in there. This is all going to look very different once we've actually started going through and doing it. We've got an add leads function, and all that. We've got a screen capture function, and will be added in future phases, so it's not sorted yet. Import leads, this is going to allow us to import our own leads from a CSV. But again, they're just placeholders. They're not hooked up to anything. Nothing works yet. It's all just, our initial things. So before I go into, the next phase, our phase 2 one, I just want to explain things a little bit. So you're going to see, you go through and you can type in the discussion here, and this is where we will talk to it. Now, all of you watching this, I'm guessing if you're more, you've been drawn to this, you've probably used AI by now, you've probably used ChatGPT, so you're going to understand how to use, chat to AI and things like that. But like anything, there is a skill to it. There's a combination of, knowing when to ask it things in here and then get to discuss with it, and then when to tell it to build it. Sometimes I chat to ChatGPT and then come back. But, for this, you've got me guiding you through, so you don't need to do that. But in future videos, I'm going to show you, how you can think of any idea and turn it into an app. And I'm going to show you how I do that, using multiple different ways to get there. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I do that as well in the future. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to quickly show you different things. So you'll notice that discuss mode is turned on. So whenever we want to add something, it would have automatically added that when we did it from where we did it before. But whenever you want it to actually do something, so if you put something in here and discuss mode isn't turned on and you ask it to do something, it will go ahead and build whatever you've asked. Now, if you want to have a discussion with it where we ask it, I'm not going to put it in because I don't want to change what we're doing right now, but it'd be something like, and I could ask it that, I'd hit enter, and then it would talk to me. It would say, yes, we could do this, we could do that. Then you can look through it and and then it's going to say, I'm in discuss mode, so I can't implement yet. And then you turn off discuss mode and say to it again, okay, let's go and implement that. But we are already going to be building that out into it, so we don't need to put that in. But I'm just showing you how that works. So just a basic overview, whenever you want to implement something, if you're sure about it, turn off discuss mode and put it in. So maybe you chatted to ChatGPT and got a prompt to put in, or you're getting ones from me, then you put it straight in. If you want to discuss with it and ask it, could it do something first, then you go through and, you can ask it. And as you see, it doesn't cost much at all, 0.3 credits per request. And you can have discussions with it. And then as soon as you're happy, turn off discuss mode and, put it in. So it's absolutely amazing for, once you got this skill, guys, you're going to know how powerful this is and amazing it can be. So that is the basics of it. You're not really going to need much else while going along. More I'll review as we go, but let's keep progressing. So that's our basic part done. Now let's go through and actually go to phase 2. So what we're going to do now, we'll create the main CRM where all our leads will be stored, organized, managed. This is also introduces the outreach pipeline and lead management workflow. Now you're going to see this one is a lot bigger. So we want to make sure we copy the whole thing. So if we go down here, copy that. Okay, so you'll see, you don't need to go into it at all. Just trust me on this. But, it's going to have things here that are going to allow us to drop down menus of, when we've sent a lead, or when we've sent a message, when we've followed up. All those things is super helpful, and I personally use myself, but you're going to see it in a moment live for real. So I just want you to copy that, and you want to go back here, make sure discuss mode isn't turned on. You can hit Control V, and then you're going to go through and do that. Okay, so we're going to put that in. So we've put that in, our prompt 2, and okay, so we're going to put that in. I'm actually just going to say, I'm just thinking of this now. I might change it by the time you guys are recording, but you're going to put that in there, prompt 2. I'll do that for the rest of them. It'll just have that, just so it understands what it's doing. So prompt 2, da 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 da. The rest of them, I'm just going to already edit it for the video, and you'll just have prompt whatever beside it. So prompt 2, create the lead CRM, da 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 da, and let's go and hit go. Okay, so as you're going to see, it's going to say, here's my plan for phase 2. I'll create a shared constraints file, constants file, so the update options are consistent everywhere, update leads entity, da 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 da, and you can see where it's writing, and it'll tell us where it's writing it to and everything like that. And then we're just going to, again, leave it to do its own thing. Okay, so this one here, now let me fix one existing lead. So again, this is why it's good to have me here helping you guys through. Things like this are going to pop up. So let's see. Now let me fix one existing sample lead that has the old contacted status, which no longer exists. So what that basically means is when we first built this out, there was a contacted, and we've changed it to first message sent now that we're refining it further. So simply just hit approve. So you're going to keep going through. Okay, so phase 2 is now complete. The lead CRM table has all the required columns with an interactive inline status dropdown, da 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 da, niche, da 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 da, add the lead, da 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 da. Okay, so let's have a look at it now. It's going to reload for us, reload our preview. Okay, so now let's have a look at the lead CRM. We've got this here. Now, if I just go here so I can see full screen, look at this, guys. Awesome. So we've got this fake one here, mock one. We've got the rating. So that's the rating that they have on their Google business profile. How many reviews they have. We'd be able to click this because once it's working, remember this is not a real one. This is a made up one. But you'd be able to click this and it will go to an app. It will go to, their website, because it's going to pull their website. It's going to pull their phone number. It's going to be able to pull email and bring that up for us too. And then what you guys are going to be able to do is it gives you a priority score as well. So, it also gives you a priority score of like how good it would be to, because these guys have no site. So obviously that's a 91, very good one. And, that would be powerful for us. But you're going to see this is so good here. This is what I use personally myself. So when they're not contacted, we can have that. Once we've sent the first message, once we've followed up, once they've replied, and then if we win it, we can have that. Or if we lost it, we can have that. Okay. So that is just really powerful for being able to go through and keep track of your leads. Even that in of itself is powerful for us. Okay. So how good is that, guys? That is our lead CRM. It's going to make a lot more sense once we've actually got, our real ones coming in. But as you can see, you're going to be able to search businesses once you know their name, as in, ones you've added here. You can have niches as they start to add in there. You can have statuses. You could filter it by that, filter it by the source, and, filter by no website has website, all websites. Because we're going to build it out soon. You're going to see the find leads where we're going to actually able to have it find businesses without websites, find businesses with websites that we could help fix, we could help redesign or improve. It's going to be very valuable for us. Okay, so that is our lead CRM. Okay, so that is that done. So now we're going to keep going along and we're going to go to prompt 3. So let's go down here. Okay, so let's go down here. So phase 3, lead discovery engine. Now this is where the magic happens. This is our most powerful part of the app. And this is the one that, we're going to probably sit with a bit to make sure it's all working. Because again, Base44 is amazing, but is it perfect every time? No. So we want to test things, make sure that they work before we progress further. Okay. So what essentially though, as you saw, I walked you through the app and you're going to see that we're going to be able to select the country, find a lead without a website or with a website, pick your city, randomizer, all those. I'll show you through as well once we've built it out for ourselves, but everything is built in there. You don't need to overthink it. This is, me sitting here back and forth until we got this working, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, so this is a bigger app as well, a bigger one as well, biggest one so far. So we're just going to copy and paste that, make sure it says phase 3 prompt, copy that, and we're just going to go back here, and you're just going to go Control V, put that one in there and hit paste and hit send. Sorry. Okay, so because this one is a much bigger prompt, you're going to see that it's going to take a lot longer to, it's thinking through here, hasn't even started building yet. It's really thinking through everything, and it'll start editing in a moment. Okay, so once it's done that, it's going to go through and start building out the most important part of our entire app, which is our actual lead, find leader. Okay. So let me explain what it is actually going to do while we're waiting for it. It's going away, it's doing everything for us. Essentially, this find leads is going to be hooked up with Gemini Pro, which is one of Google's things, AI that can index, look through, Google business profiles, and it can index them for us and find, businesses that then we can reach out to, because it's going to find out how many reviews they have, their rating, everything like that. We're going to be able to do it. Okay, so it looks like it's done, and let's now have a look. Okay, so we're going to go to our Find Leads tab here, guys. So you're going to hit this one, and let's go to make sure that we've got it, our full panel. But as you can see, this is our Find Leads. So you're going to have, this is all things that I've thought about and is super valuable for me. And now that you're sitting here with the app, I want to explain to you why it's so powerful. So, okay, so you're going to be able to type in plumbing, and then you can go through and type in Sydney, and then you've got a country here, results limit, min rating. Now, interesting. This is going to be me able to show you very quickly how we can change things here, because I actually ideally would like this to have a one that says, like I have a default of, where it would just allow anything. So, it doesn't matter what rating, any rating. So we need to put that in there, as well as minimum reviews. We would want to have any. So as in, you don't always have to choose, like type in or put in amount of minimum reviews. We can just have it have any. So it's just going to, if you want to just quickly do it, you're going to be able to do that. Okay. Then you got the website filter here. We got either has website, no website. This one here can be super powerful. I've used this to find people without websites, and they're the easiest ones usually to sell. That's where a lot of the money is, for building out this for yourself. But also the has websites can be absolutely amazing just for, for redesigns or ones that are just sitting there that, they haven't done anything with. They're just coming soon. You're going to see in a moment. But what I want to also show you is, notice I have these two shuffle buttons here. So what the shuffle buttons allow us to do, so just say, you get sick of trying to think of what niche you want to go, look for next. You just simply hit shuffle, and then it's pick gym. And then, I don't know what city to pick. I've exhausted Sydney. You just pick that, and it's going to pick a random city in Australia. So it's going to go through like that. And you can see it goes through random locations and cities all across Australia. Now, what we've also wired up though is, because you guys are not all going to be Australian like me, we've actually set up it's going to have drop down where we can scroll through the different countries here, but we can also just type in. So you've obviously got United States there. So if I click this and I hit this, see, it's just picking ones it doesn't pick one anywhere in the world. It picks it only for that exact country, which is absolutely fantastic. And can be very powerful for you, for you making sure, it's only finding ones from your own country. So if we go here, and because that is a big thing. So just why I put that in there is because, a lot of these softwares that, you're paying a lot of money for, that are made by, big companies and big businesses, they might only be made for finding a lot of the time, in no offense to America, but a lot of the time they're only built for United States and things like that. So, us people and the guys in Australia or other countries, it doesn't always work for us. So that's why this can be super powerful, because it doesn't matter what country you live in, you're going to be able to use this. So you just typed in France, and type this in here, and I was in France and I wanted to find somewhere random in France. and there we go. So we could find gyms in Paris, France, as easy as that. But I'm going to give it to Australia because that's the example, and that's where I live. So I'm going to go here. We're going to say results limit, min, rating. Okay. So before I do that, I do want to test it. Actually, let's just see if it works first before we go shifting things around, because then we can know if we change something that stops something from working. So I'm just going to go either for now, because that's a, surefire way to get some results. Gym, not really a good niche really always for web design. It can be, but it's much easier things like a electrician. So let's just put electrician. Electrician. Obviously want to change this because that's not in, let's just say Brisbane, and 10 results, minimum rating, we'll just say 4, and minimum reviews 5. Okay, it's just so that we can be sure it's going to find some. But why would you have minimum reviews? Why would you be able to do that? Well, think about it. If you want to target, if you're a high-end web designer and you want to target, big redesigns, then you'd go someone like 100 minimum. It's not going to find many, but it's going to find ones with lots of reviews, getting lots of traffic, and you're going to be able to charge more. Then again, if you go 5, 5 reviews are only new. It's only going to be a new business. You're not going to be able to charge as much, but usually they're easier to get across the line. So that's just my reasoning why we would even have that and the power of it. Okay, so I've gone minimum reviews 5, min rating 4, either website, electrician in Brisbane, Australia. Let's geo. Let's see what happens. Okay, so usually it takes around 60 seconds. Remember, this is scanning the internet and finding this for us. So it's okay to have to wait a little bit for what it's doing because it's populating it all and everything. But yeah, just be prepared to wait around 60 seconds, sometimes, a little bit longer, but, that's worth it for being able to use it. It's much quicker. I don't know whether you guys have ever had to go out and find each business on your own through Google Maps. It is not easy. Whereas this just allows us to go through and, we can use this now to easily find leads for ourselves. If you just want to go away, have a bit of a stretch, what I usually do is while I'm leaving it searching is I just go through and I'll just open up another tab and do something else while I'm doing it. Then I'm not sitting here thinking, when's it gonna go? Okay, so go away. You can go away and do something else, leave in the background while it's searching, and then we can come back. Okay, so there we go. So it has finally found them. Now, it was a little bit slower than I was expecting, so I'm going to show you guys. We're going to quickly actually have a chat to it and see if we can shift that around a bit and have a bit of a go. But we're just going to go through and, see that first. So, but let's make sure that he's really getting ones here. So I've gone through Brisbane before, so I've seen these ones pop up before. So these are real ones. So it's got Connex Electrical, 5 rating and 500 reviews. Let's have a look. So it's pulled in a phone number. Awesome. And it's got a priority of 100. Now let's go to website. Let's have a look at what they've got. So if we click this, it's going to have our website, the website of theirs. Look at that. So that's a real business, these guys here. And as you look at this, I look at this as a web designer. I know I could help them and we could, get something even more powerful than that. But that is that's for another day. But, they're still better than many that I've seen out there. So that could be, a redesign even there for someone that was interested. But let's just exit there. So there's a real one there. So let's have another look. Let's see one with a little bit less reviews. So this one's only got 56. Let's have a look. My Brisbane Electrician. So let's see if that's again, the website's going to load. Yeah, cool. So again, not too bad really. Things we could improve copyright wise, but that is beyond the scope of this, obviously. But as you can see, guys, look at this. We've got real links coming up. We've got a phone number. We've got a rating score. We've got all this. This would usually take me, honestly, used to take me hours to go through, wasting back and forth, going through Google places, looking them up, finding that, and then figuring out where I'm going to put it.
just wasted so much time. Now I can do this. And I only did 10 there, so I could have done more. You know, I could have done the results limit a lot more. I'm actually going to have this as a drop down because it's kind of annoying having that there, but I'm going to change that as well for us. I don't really like how it's, you know, like that where we can type it in. So we're going to change that in a moment. But anyway, let's just see. So let's just make sure it works when we add one. So let's just say we did like this one. We thought maybe we'd add him. So we're going to hit add, and then it's added our lead. Let's exit here. And again, see, Base44 isn't perfect with that sort of thing. We're going to have to, but it's a good teachable moment. See, that X doesn't actually work when I click it. Okay, but I've added that. So if I hit add there, let's add another one. And now let's go to our lead CRM here. And you'll see these two added here. And we could go through now and we could contact them. So we could go first message sent once we emailed them and everything like that. But here's a few things we want to fix. So the first thing that I want to go do is fix the fact that they are not Xing on us. That's very common, to be honest. I've built out a lot of apps, and for some reason, the first time it builds, notifications, it really ties up the, X of it properly. So if you want to tidy that up, which I'm guessing you do, you could refresh it and it'll just disappear anyway. But for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go Command-Shift-3 to screenshot there, and I'm going to copy this and I drag that in here, and I'm going to show you how to fix something. So I'm just going to say to it here, let's just pretend we want to put it in discuss mode first. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say, we need to fix the notification toasts to exit when we press X, as right now when I press X on the toast notifications, that's what these software notifications are called, notifications, nothing happens. Please ensure the X button is correctly tied up. Okay, so you're just going to hit that, send. It's going to have a little bit of a think. Okay, so it's going to go through and it's going to read it. I reviewed the toast code and it appears that there's a toast code button inside. Is missing the on-click handler. Because I'm in discussion mode, I cannot apply this. Here's what needs to be changed. So this would be if you want to go and copy and paste that into the back end. Obviously, you guys are not going to want to do that. So what to do is just discussion mode off. So this is a perfect moment to, I've built enough that I wouldn't have done discussion mode first for that. I would have trusted to do it without it. But I'm just showing you guys. So go that, just say this. Yes, that sounds great. Thanks. Go ahead. Awesome. Okay, so when we click that, we're going to go through and they will work for us now. Okay, so the next thing we want to change is here. So I wasn't really liking, you guys might like it, it'll be fine, you don't have to change it, but I wasn't really liking the results limit, having to have it like that, because I don't want you guys typing in 1,000 accidentally and doing that, because you don't want to do that. You go through your credits quickly and you don't definitely, I don't even know whether it could find 1,000. So we'd rather have a drop down of maybe maximum of at most of 100. Even that I wouldn't, less than or equal to 30. There you go. So it doesn't even let that anyway. So that's why it's even more silly. So we're going to have a drop down for that. So I want a drop down for results limit. I want a drop down for min rating, and I want a drop down for min reviews, but I also want them to have any as well as an option. Okay, so we're going to type that in now. Okay, so I might actually do a screenshot of it so it knows. Actually, no. I want to show you guys how to do that properly without it. So you're going to go through here. I'm going to go to find leads. So we're in find leads. I'm going to say to it, we're going to say on the find leads tab, can we please make these changes? 1, make the results limit a drop down rather than a type a typing box. 2, make the min rating a drop down. Also, 3, make the min reviews a drop down also. And 4, let's make a any option for the min rating and min reviews. That is a default setting to allow finding of leads with any number of reviews or ratings. Okay, so put in something like that. Pause and, go through and type that in for yourself. Okay, so we're just going to hit that and hit send. Cool, and we're going to see it happen live. It's going to update. And let's have a look. So result limit, this is going to be so much better. So there we go. So we just drop down. We can see what we have. It only goes to 30. I wouldn't ever recommend, you can do 30 for sure, yeah, but I usually do around 20 or 10, usually most likely 20. And then minimum rating, look at that, perfect. We've got any tied up, and we've got, we can choose this here, and min reviews, we can choose it. So then it gives you a bit of a picture, so you understand what you're looking for. And to be honest, I usually just go any a lot of the time, but if I really need to go after a business, like for Response Mate, if I need to go after a business who's getting lots of, high end, I'd go for this one here. But for the majority of guys just looking for local businesses, you can really put on any, or if you want to start at 25, if you want to, a bit more established, whatever you want, you figure it out. But let's now test it out again. So let's just go through to make it easy. We're going to do that. I'm going to pick, electrician again. And then I'm going to go Newcastle, Sydney, and then we're going to go test it for Australia. Minimum limit 15, and then any, and then any, and we're going to go hit search leads. Okay, so look at that. So I didn't have to wait too long that time. So it's gone through. Look at this, guys. So it's found our different leads, got their phone numbers there, and it has gone through and done that for us, which is awesome. So we can just go through here. We can hit visit, and then we can go here and see. We could go through and look at this one. So again, I'm not trying to be mean, but we could do, that could be improved quite a bit in terms of design wise and even copy wise, but it probably works for them because they've straight away just got an inquiry form like that. But anyway, that's an example there. Got a decent amount here, all these ones here, and let's just have a check whether its add features work. So if it add, and then let's make sure that X works now. Being cheeky on me, we're gonna have to get it to fix that again. So all right, so I've added that. So again, this is why Base44 is amazing, but then things like this, it can sometimes struggle. So we're going to go through and fix that. But again, it is finding leads. It's doing everything we need it to. These are just the quirks that I'd mentioned to you about Base44. Any AI builder, they're all like this. Sometimes the common sense things it overlooks, but that you can give it the most complex thing that it can create, and it can do that like we're doing here. But then sometimes these little funny little quirks like this. But you just accept these things and you keep moving forward. Okay, so we're just going to quickly go through there, and I'm going to say, go back to it here, and I'm going to say the toast notification for when I add a lead from the find leads page still doesn't close when I press X. Can you please double check why this is occurring still and correct it? Okay, so something like that. It's most likely going to get it this time. I've been a little bit stricter to it. Let's have a look at what will happen there. Okay, so it looks like it's found it. What's it say here? If I read this, I'll know whether it has got it. The toast component is plain and a regex primitive. It never actually hides. It'll reduce it later. So it missed the toast. I remove from the drum quickly. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like it's fixed it now. Okay, so let's just test out before we move on to the next sections. Let's test whether it can find any no leads just with what we've set it up for first. So it's going to go to random. Who's most likely to have no website? A plumber, probably. Let's go. Let's see, plumbing, and random city, Hobart, and we're going to test out the no website feature and see. Now this is going to take significantly longer to find website plumbers and that without websites, but this is where like a lot of value can be for some of you that like that, you know, especially if you use AI builders to build your websites. Those of you that like that sort of thing, you know, this can be very valuable. So hit this. Okay, so here we go. So we've found some businesses that have no websites, supposedly, because remember, you know, like anything, it's not always going to be absolutely perfect, but a lot of the time what happens is they might have a website, even if it says no website, but it's a very poor website, or it interprets it because, you know, it's that actually their site doesn't load, which are really powerful ones because they actually then, you know, want a website but haven't done it. Or sometimes these no sites are actually coming soon, and the AI classifies them as no site. So this is still very, very valuable. I've found real clients through just using this feature. These I found ones that said no site, but they did have one, but it was a, you know, GoDaddy coming soon, that they were just sitting there. And then I was able to, you know, create that as a touch point. They're a business that's already shown they want a website, and so that's been perfect for reaching out. So we're going to test one here. So let's go through and choose Glover Plumbing and Gas, and try that. Let's go through, copy that, Control C, and put that in. See if they really don't have a website. Yeah, look at this, guys. Perfect. So they don't have a website. So again, I would say it's like a 50-50 whether it can sometimes be right or wrong. Well, maybe tending towards 60% of the time it's right. We'll say that, give it some credit. But as you can see, it's just their Facebook page. And in a moment, you're going to see, I'm going to show you how we can actually add a AI extraction. So, you know, back in the day, you'd have to go through and copy this and this, but I'm going to show you how we can take a screenshot of this, and it will automatically add it to our pipeline of ones to reach out to. Because look at these guys. These are perfect. They don't have a website yet, as you can see, but they are active. And you know what? I'm going to save this one, and I'm going to come back to it myself and reach out to these guys. But, you know, these are perfect because you can see they're making, you know, posts, and, you know, they're showing that they're active. They want to have an online presence, but they don't have a website. So that would be perfect. So I would go through and I'd hit add lead here like that. And then I'd hit through X here, and look at that. Our X now works, which is awesome. So that's a good one. Let's just test one more because, you know, if there's some here that I could reach out to myself for real. Let's just have a look at these guys here. Let's go through. Again, just the yellow pages, doesn't have a website. So these guys would be, you know, if they don't have this is just a little teaching moment, you know, if they don't even have a Facebook page, usually I'm pretty hesitant to reach out because they're showing me that they don't care about their online presence. They're not, you know, they're not up with it a little bit in that sense. So it might not be worth my time even messaging out to them because, you know, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just the honest truth. So, you know, some of them it'd be worth reaching out, but, you know, if they don't even have a Facebook page, at least, you know, maybe they're not going to be open to wanting a website. But that's just my little teachable moment. Okay, so I've gone through, I've added that one in. I wouldn't add that. I've added this, and then as we go here to Leads CRM, we can see it added there. And now I could go through Glover Plumbing and Gas, and then I could reach out to them through their phone number, or I could, you know, find their email through their Facebook page, which is just here. But, you know, then I could easily go through and email them. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how I do my outreach. So I can give you an example of that towards the end of this tutorial as a nice little bonus. But, you know, I digress. So there's that. Okay, so let's keep moving along. Okay, but we're going to go next to the import screenshot capture, because I'm going to show you how we can use it to bring this guy in here, even though we added him already, but I'm just going to, show you as an example of how we do that. So if we go through our next phase prompt here, so we're going to go through and put in this one here. So we're going to call this phase 4 prompt. So I'm going to copy that one there, go with this, and I'll change the order of them around, and let's go back here and put this one back and put this one in here and go phase 4 prompt. Going to put that in, create an import leads, So we're going to set all that up because right now they're just placeholders. Okay, so it's going to go through and do both for us now. Awesome, guys. So that has gone through and done that for us. Now you're going to see, let's have a look. So if we go to import leads, what we can do now is we can go through and we can upload a CSV file, and put that in there. And I'm going to, we're going to test all these things so to make sure that they do work. So what this is incredible is, just say you guys being, web designers, you got, leads and everything that are built up over the years, you could upload a CSV file and then it's going to extract that and automatically add it to your leads, which is absolutely amazing. So very powerful. You could bring in hundreds of leads, very quickly. But then this is the most powerful one that I've really not seen, people doing before in actual softwares that are out there. And this is something that has been unbelievably just that very valuable for me. So what this is going to allow us to do here is take a screenshot of a Google business profile, a Facebook page, or an Instagram profile, and instantly add it as a lead here with all their information already populated for us. So we don't even have to go through and waste time typing it. We don't have to keep track who you've reached. Like, it's just, you know what I mean. If you've done outreach and search and finding businesses through social media, it's tedious. Okay, so this is why this can be absolutely amazing. So what this is going to allow us to do, I'm just going to go through here and actually, so we don't actually have a delete function yet. So I'm going to ask us, because you guys are going to want this anyway. So again, another little thing, we're going to add a delete function. So I can delete this one before I add it, because I'm not going to be able to add the double one of the same one. So we're just going to go through here. And I'm going to type in, please add a delete function to the, please add a delete button to the leads in Leads CRM, as well as a bulk leads deleter, so I can remove leads I no longer want. Do not fully delete them, but rather simply archive them so I no longer see them in my lead CRM. So why I would say that is so that you're not fully deleting them, but they're moving to they're moving to an archive feature, so you can come back to them if you needed to, but we're removing them because we don't have any interest in them seeing them there. Okay, so we're gonna go through and just hit lead CRM, and then we're gonna just. Okay, so it's added that in for us. So now I can tick this one here and hit delete selected, permanently delete and removed. So I've deleted that lead. Now I'm going to be able to show you here. Now, screenshot captured. Obviously, if we already had an ability to add that one because we found it, you probably wouldn't do this, but it is very powerful if you are doing your own search and finding leads and things like that. Through like that, this can be unbelievably powerful. So if I just go like this, I just get that there, make sure we've got everything there, and just go like that. Then we go back to our app and drag our screenshot in here. And it's going to analyze that for us. It has done something that I didn't expect. And again, this is why it's good to have me here walking you through it. And this is, again, why it's good to, this is another teachable moment. So it's done a screenshot analysis, but it hasn't done what I wanted it to do, which was actually take the information and add it, pass it, and then, it's already, you can see it's taken the Facebook page, email here and everything, but it's not actually going through and adding it as a lead for us and allowing us to do that. So, it's got a selected lead to attach a screenshot to. We don't want anything like that. That's not what I wanted, okay? So, again, but this is a good teachable moment because you're going to find this. This is just like building anything, there's refinements along the way. So I'm just going to simply say to it, the screenshot capture page is incorrectly just analyzing the screenshot instead of extracting. Look at my typing because I'm being a bit, is incorrectly analyzing and incorrectly analyzing the screenshot instead of extracting the data from it to be added as a lead, i.e. phone number, business name, email, etc. We do not need it to analyze the screenshot, but rather extract the important info to be added as a lead and approved before adding. Let's test that out. Okay. So it's saying it works now. So let's test it out again. So if we go to take a screenshot, drag that in there, go back to here, drag it in, let it have a go. Look at that. Awesome. Look at that. So we've got business here. It didn't correctly get that, but it's pretty hard because of their name. It does have plumbing and gas. So that's the thing. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. Most of the time it is, but you're not going to complain about having to type in a niche. It's not hard to do, but it's got everything else. It's got the phone number. From there, it's got the email, website quality, none. So it recognizes, it's not a website. It doesn't have that. Facebook URL, it took that. Everything like that, you can do that. And then you can hit add lead to CRM. Okay, so just hit this one and let's make sure it works. So lead socially and there, and then you can hit capture another. Let's go to lead CRM. Awesome, guys. Look at that. It added that in for us, which is absolutely amazing. And you can see here, it's got a little Facebook icon and we've got that there. Now, one thing I did notice is I want to be able to add notes to my, leads when I'm adding them like that from a screenshot. So let's do that. Let's have a look at add lead as well. Does it have a notes? So we've got add lead, business name, niche. So this is if you're manual adding, which can be, I still use this occasionally for my own one. And you can add all that in and it's got notes there. Okay, so we just need a notes feature for the screenshot capture because we want that as well. Can we please add a notes feature for the screenshot leads that are returned after after a successful capture to be approved. That allows me to add some additional notes about the lead if I would like to before adding the lead, just like we have in the actual manual add leads. Actually, that could be getting a bit risky saying that because we don't want to talk about another section. Let's keep it that. We'll keep it streamlined. Can we please add new notes to add a notes feature for the screenshot leads that are returned after a successful capture to be approved. That allows me to add additional notes about the lead if I would like to before adding a lead. Okay, and then we see that. Okay, so that was an easy one. That was an easy win. Okay, let's just test that it works. So I'm not going to approve the lead anyway. So let's take another screenshot and drag that one in there, paste it there. Let's have a look what happens. And yeah, cool. So we did that. Is there a notes? And there's the notes feature. Cool. So let's keep moving on. So we're not going to add that because we don't need to. Let's go to our final phase. One, before we do their little bonus, more professional one, for those of you who want it. But let's go down here. So final, dashboard polish here. So finalize the UI. So we're going to go through here, Command C, and go, what phase prompt are we even up to? Phase 5? Okay, so then we're just going to go here, I'm going to type in phase 5 prompt, and we're just going to go Command V like that, finalize the UI in the lead CRM, make the business name clickable, which is going to be great, so we're going to be able to click the name. Go to the modal, finally build the dashboard page. It should display summary cards for total leads, and a chart that using recharts to visualize lead distribution by status. So it's going to just make our dashboard look a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. So let's have a go at that. Okay, so let's have a look now at our lead CRM. So if we go here, we have a little click and we click on the one. Okay, so here we go. Cannot read properties of null reading business name. So again, a good teachable moment. This is the beauty of Base44 is if something doesn't work, it auto finds it itself, and we're just going to hit resolve with AI. I want to go back here and then it's going to fix that error for us. Awesome. So let's have a look at that now. Let's have a go. Click this one here. There you go. Fixed. See, guys, this is why Base44 is 99% of the time, 95% of the time amazing, 5% of the time got its little cheeky quirks. But here you go. So we've got an edit lead, so a full overview where you could add notes, you could add all these things in, you could look at the lead, and you could, update it all like that, okay? So, and you can, do the status from in here. You could show the lead source, super valuable for us, guys. So if you ever need to change things, and hit save changes. Okay, there's that, okay? And now let's just have a look at what our dashboard's looking like. Awesome. So look at this, guys. So we've got an overview of our leads by status. We've got leads 1, leads not contacted. Awesome, like that, okay? So, we've got a bit of an overview there. Okay, so let's now have a look at the dashboard that we've got so far. So yeah, so there's our dashboard. We've got total leads 1, 1 leads, average priority score, yeah, leads by status. So it's okay, but we could definitely make this look a little stronger. So I'm going to get you to go into the, I'm going to get you to go into the lead engine prompt pack again, and we're going to go down to this one here, further optimization optional, and this is just going to give us a stronger looking dashboard. So I'm just going to copy this one. Again, this is an optional thing. So we're going to go through here and then hit Control V or Command V, put that in there and see whether how it goes with that. So I'm going to hit Enter. Okay. And I've just remembered I'm in discuss mode, but I guess this is a good little way for, you guys to see that in action. So I'm just going to say, yes, proceed. Okay, so it's done. Let's have a look. Cool. Now look at that. Now we're talking. So that is a much better looking dashboard instantly. So we've got a total leads here. We've got a high priority. We've got no websites. We've got contacted, interested, one client. So that will be more applicable once you're actually using it. But as we can see here, we've got an opportunity breakdown of, per, industry that they're in. We've got an outreach pipeline here of not contacted one. We've got recent leads that we can see and high priority leads. So look at that. That is now feeling far more like a dashboard and, how we would like it to be. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now is, you've essentially now, you've got yourself a working app. Now, I want you, when I say working, I want you to make sure that you go through and you test it, that it is working like we did. If you haven't done that already, make sure that you've gone through and tested things. You saw how I speak back and forth with it. If you see an issue, you can go into discuss mode, take a screenshot, explain something, and then have it fix it if there's an issue. But from my end, the version that I'm working now, that I've worked through this video, we now know that it finds leads successfully. It has a randomizer for the location, for the niche, the location, has countries that we can select, has results limits here, any rating, and then it comes through and it finds our leads. We can also go through and we've got a lead CRM where we can see all our leads as we've seen here. We've got all of them sitting there. We can now click them and edit them easily. We can go to add a lead. So we've got manual enter a new lead. So we can go through and we can type in the niche, the location, the contact, all that, and then hit save lead. We've got a screenshot capture that we tested and confirmed works now, where we can just drag and drop a Google business profile, a Facebook page, an Instagram profile, and then we've got the import leads. So we've got the import from a CSV file, and then that can extract some leads. So that is, you've got yourself an absolutely amazing, CRM and, web design client finding tool. This is going to, I promise you, if you use this well, you are going to be able to, doesn't matter what type of web designer you are, whether you're someone creating, AI-based business websites, or you're making ones in WordPress, or making ones in Framer, or you're making ones in Webflow, whatever it is, this is now a way that you can use to quickly find local small businesses and businesses to reach out to search for them, using Google business profiles, which is some of the best ways to actually, reach out to some of these clients. So the final thing that I will just briefly show you guys how to do is if you wanted to change the UI. So maybe you didn't like this black here on the left, maybe you do like and you'll keep it, but let's just say I wanted to change it a bit. So let's just say, can we change the UI of the app to be a more minimal white style design, colors can be kept, but make the left side nav menu more menu white and make the nav menu left side nav menu white. So can we change it a bit more minimal? So let's have a look. So I'm just going to hit that there. Okay, so it's going ahead. Looks like it's editing things. We'll just leave it to its thing, and then we will come back and have a look what it's done. Yeah, cool. I don't mind that. That's quite good looking. Nice and clean. I would much prefer that, to be honest, without the black there. Now, if you ended up not liking what it came back with, you could go to here. I'm not going to do it, but all you would do is just simply hit revert. And so if I click this here, it's going to say revert this message. This will undo the message, da 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 da. You'd hit confirm. And what this will do is it will revert that and actually take it back to its previous state before we made the changes like that. So that is a good way to go back and change things. If you make a mistake and you didn't like what it did, you can go back like that. Or I'll quickly show you one other thing. So if we click up here, version history, you're going to see every single time we've made a major update has been saved. So this is another incredible functionality of Base44. So every time we've made a significant change, we can now go back. I'm not going to do it, but we could click, one of these here, just in case I do click it. We would go back here and we just simply go to revert to this version, and then you would go and hit publish on that reverted version. So that just means if you've made a major mistake, something breaks. Very rarely does that happen anymore with, where Base44 AI is at. But if something does seem like it's, it feels a bit hard to come back on, I always just, go through the version histories, find ones before the mistake was there or before some change that I didn't actually want. And then I just hit here, I hit revert to this previous version, then hit publish. Okay, so that is, essentially done. We've got a good looking app. We've got our own app that can now find leads for us. We can find no website ones, which is the most valuable for, those of you who do smaller jobs, especially. But, either is going to return you, a redesign or no websites. You've got a full CRM here that we can go through. We can click, we can edit, we can say when we've contacted them, which is awesome. And we can use that to follow up. We've got an add lead here, we've got a screen capture, and we've got an import lead. And we've got an import lead here where you could go through and ensure and upload a CSV file. Okay, so now if we just go, actually that makes me think we might test this. So I've gone through and, made a mock CSV file. So I'm just going to go here and upload the CSV, and let's make sure that it works. So columns, and it's gonna, so business name here, yep, there all works, niche, data location, da. So that's what it maps to. So sample data maps to, hit import 8 leads, import 8 leads successfully. Let's have a look, it's lead CRM, and there we go, look at that. So it brought in those 8 leads, and then we can go through, because it's obviously not going to have ratings and reviews because we didn't have that, but we can go through and put in those if we wanted to. But that is how we could upload our leads. So we know that the CSV works as well. So yeah, that is essentially the entire app built, ready to go. So you should give yourself a big pat on the back, because that is absolutely amazing, and that is going to be super valuable for you. So I'm just going to have one little thing now on the end of this tutorial, because I didn't want to just leave you, it's obviously I want to add a lot of value so you understand how to build this. And those of you that have been, outreaching for a few years now, you might already have it down pat of how to do outreach emails and how to reach out to clients. But given there's something that I do myself and have had success with, then I wanted to just have so now you've got the ability to use your app. I'm just going to show you how we would go about and actually, reach out to these people. Okay, so let's go into that now. Okay guys, so now that we've officially got together our CRM and our lead engine, our lead finder, then what we're going to do now, just to finish things off, is I'm actually going to walk you through how you can then, how I approach outreaching to clients, what works for me when I find these clients through my own CRM, and what I found to work the best. Now, you might already be a web designer out there, and you already know how to do outreach, and it works for you. By all means, this might not be for you, but for those of you who you're just getting started or find that you struggle with outreach, I'm going to show you how I approach it and what has worked for me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Lead CRM. Obviously, you guys aren't doing this, but I'm saying we're going to do it as in this tutorial. And I'm going to pick this one that was found here. So this one here that didn't have a website. Remember, these guys don't have a website yet. They've just got a Facebook page. I'm going to go through to theirs. So this is the Facebook page. Now, this is what I really do. So if I find a website, find a lead, that doesn't have a site, I'll actually go through, I'll Google them. I'll either just copy and paste their name and put that into, so I got this, I'd copy and paste that name if they don't have a website, and I put it into search, and then you'll see here, we've come up here with, they've got a Google business profile, but with no reviews yet, as we already saw here. They've got 0 reviews, and they've got an Instagram profile and a Facebook profile. Now, what I usually do then is pick which one. So you could have a look what they got on the Instagram. Yeah, see, so they don't have any info on there. So you're not really active there, but they clearly are more active here on Facebook. So, instead of back in the day, I would have had to, copy and paste all these, find somewhere to save it all, figure it out, or just email them and then lose track. Now we can, we've obviously, as you know, we've added it in here. We've got our lead here. Okay, so now what I do is I open up this person here, and then what I do is I just simply, like we did before to bring it in, I go through and I take a screenshot of their business there like that. And then I go through to ChatGPT. So I grab that, I drag that into ChatGPT. Now I use this as reference for my outreach because it's got a little bit of info there. It's got enough for them to go off to understand the business. And then I go through and say that, talk to ChatGPT and get its help with writing the outreach. Now, because I've chatted with ChatGPT a lot, and my one, I've chatted with ChatGPT a lot, and it's understood like the way I like to do outreach and what works for me. It's going to likely, the first time I chat to it, arrive at that, but I'm going to have linked down the bottom for you some, outreach is like templates that work for me and some principles that I follow as well. So the main principles that I follow when I do outreach is I'm not hypey. I don't do any silly things of just like making things up or just hyping things up. You know what I mean? So I'm not pushy either. So I don't tell them like you got to do this or else, or any silly sales tactics. None of that. People are sick of that, and they smell it from a mile away. The moment they see it, they're just not gonna, they're not gonna want to connect with you. Okay, and they'll just won't even respond. However, if you do it well, you do it in an authentic way, grounded, and just like you're just there to help them, then you can come away with a good outreach. And a lot of the time they end up getting back to me. Do all of them always send to clients? No, but I do get through to a lot of them, and something usually comes about from it. Even if it's not a website, it might be helping them in some other way. So that's why I wanted to show you my process. So I'm just going to simply say to it, give it some outline here, but remember, if it returns a good one this first time, I'll link it down. I'll link it for you and copy it for you, but I'm going to also have some templates anyway. So I'm just starting a new chat. I'd usually do it in my own chat, but I wanted to start a new one for showing here, but let's just do it. So let's go through. Okay, so here's what I said. So I found this lead here that looks like another great one to reach out to. Can we write an outreach email to them offering to help with a website for them? It looks like they have a bit of a following on Facebook and Instagram, so clearly they value presence online presence but don't yet have a website. Let's write an outreach email like we usually do. Obviously, I can say that because it's got context. Acknowledging their business, offering to make them a concept while being friendly and non-pushy. Like what I said, let's have a look what it comes out with in a new chat compared to one that I've been previously doing them in. Let's have a look. Yeah, cool. So let's have a look what they've said. Okay, so hey. So I'd actually change this to hey mate. So if I had to give it more context, so hey mate, like in Australia that works, maybe not in America or in other countries, but I'd go with like that's what works here, things like that. So I'd actually say hey mate, I came across your Facebook page while working at local businesses and just wanted to, while looking at local business, just want to reach out. Firstly, it looks like you've built a great reputation. Yeah, good. This is what I like to say. One thing I noticed, you couldn't find a website. Yeah, perfect. I run a small business here, so I introduce myself where I help local businesses create modern websites that showcase their work, build trust, and make it easier for customers to get in touch. Perfect. No pressure at all. Exactly. So there we go. That's all. That line works well. But if it's something you've been thinking about, again, that's something I like. So here it under there. So this is pretty much a template. So that it's got. But if it's something you've been thinking about, I'd be more than happy to put together a homepage concept for you completely free so you can see what your business could look like online before deciding if it's something worth pursuing. If you love it, we can chat further. If not, no hard feelings at all. Either way, keep up the great work and I wish you all the best with government employment. Kind regards, Isaac, local biz sites. Easy as that. Like I said, I would change this to, I'd change this to hey mate. So let's go through there. That's the only thing I'd change. I'd just go through here and I'd just change it to hey mate, like that. Just feels a little bit more human. Like that. I came across to the and that would be, I'd be happy with that, like that. And then what's it said here? I can see you already invested the time in putting your social media, so I like that too. So I'd say let's also place this. And then I'll come back with it. Yeah, cool. Look at that. So, hey, mate, I came across Facebook page. Alright, no pressure at all. Yeah, where did it say this? One thing I noticed, I couldn't find a website. I can see you've already invested time into building your social media presence, so having a website alongside will give you. Yeah. So there, perfect. So I'm going to link this down below. So I can take a screenshot now if you want. But this sort of thing has won me clients from outreach. You stand yourself out by just, I don't have. I purposely don't use crazy signatures and everything like that, and I just send this from my own Gmail. Having tested my own, my own dedicated domain email, I actually found that mine of my full name at gmail.com has actually done better than that one. So go figure with that. But you just have to find what works for you. But for me, an outreach like that works really well, and all you need to do is something as simple as that, where notice I'm not pushing, I'm not saying they have to do it, no pressure at all, it's just if they want to do it. And it's not hard for me to go through and put together a free mock, and then usually once they see the concept, if I can get them to that, I'd say like 60-70% of the time, probably higher than that, 90% of the time, once they see the concept, they feel invested in it and they want to buy. So that is just a quick little overview of how I go about, outreach like that. Now, I also, like in terms of follow-up, I usually I'll leave 7 days. So after 7 days, if I haven't haven't heard back from them, I just do a short little friendly pop-in, nothing hypey again, just friendly. I'll have them linked in the description of just some templates for that as well for you. But yeah, that's how I approach it. And the beauty, like, follow up can be when you actually get the person. Like, you might not hear from them the first time, but then the second or the third follow up, even sometimes, you'll get the person if you're friendly and you're continuing to be just authentic and not pushy and things like that, you'll win at the end of the day. Because people are, people, especially small business owners, they get so many emails all the time, they just get sick of it. So if you can be different and you can be authentic and you can be grounded and you can just be, just trying to help them out, then, you're going to get yourself, you're going to stand out from the sea of people just pitching you and, just, pushing their things on people. So that is how I approach outreach, emailing, and everything like that. Let me know in the description below if you want to do a deeper video on just outreach itself, how I approach it. I'd be happy to get together a video like that. All we're going to do now is move into the optional but highly recommended upgrade for the find leads function. So right now, if you go through and use your find leads, and you've gone through, earlier in the tutorial, we checked to make sure it works. But one thing you will notice is that it can be a little slow. So if I click this here, I might be waiting here for a minute or two, sometimes longer, to find results. Now, of course, like I said earlier, you could just, open up a new tab, have it in the background, and it just come back when it's done. Or if you want to, speed it up and also make it more accurate, because, this is essentially relying on AI. It's using Gemini Pro, which is quite good. It's great, like going through the internet and finding things, but sometimes it can hallucinate and sometimes it can make, change some of the stats. It's still good, really good for finding them. And if you're willing to wait, it works and it's completely fine. And you can just have that, as a free method, and that can work fine for you, especially if you're just getting started. However, for those of you that are, want it to be faster and accurate every time, then this is a step that I'd recommend. Now, this is, obviously, it costs, it's like a small cost involved for this API, and it's a little bit more advanced, but there you go. So it's brought that. So it wasn't too long to wait, but, this, I'll show you now, what this will do for us. So essentially, we're going to use this called Serper API here. Now it is, does cost a little bit of money, but not like it's still pretty much, very cheap for what you're getting. So essentially what it's going to do is we're going to set up an API for the Google search. It's just going to mean that when it returns them, they're going to be very accurate, and it's going to you're going to see in a moment, it's going to return them in seconds as opposed to minutes, because it's just a lot more robust than, just the default AI path that we've been using. So in terms of cost, just so you know, it is very cheap. You get 2,500 free queries, which it takes probably per query. I've been watching, and it takes about maybe 5 credits per query. So, that's still a lot of goes we could do with even just the initial that. And then it is around $1 per 1,000 queries. So, still unbelievably cheap to use, especially once you start getting at least 1 or 2 leads and converting them to paid clients. It's already paid for itself more than ever. And it's like, it is honestly dirt cheap, like crazy cheap for that. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and set that up. So it's super simple, and it's not going to take long at all. Okay, so you're going to go to phase 6 here, the Serper API prompt. So you're going to go here if this is what you want to do, and you're going to copy this prompt here. So you're going to go through and copy this here. We're going to copy that, and then we're going to put this in here. I'm going to go back here, take it out of discuss mode if you've got it on, and we're going to paste it in there. Okay, so you're going to put that in there and have it ready to go and hit enter. Okay, cool. So now it's going to ask us for our API secret. So what you want to do is copy this link here. This is one of the easiest APIs you'll ever set up. And what does API mean? That if you guys have never understood that, just think of it like the password to connect the AI to a another function. So to another, software or another function, whatever you want to think of it as, so it can connect to that, so that then this app can speak to here, and then they communicate with each other, and increase what we can do with our app. So what we're going to do is just going to go to where it says, which is just taking us to here, and then you're going to go to sign up, and then create a free account. So you're just going to put in your details. Make up a password. Make sure it's a difficult password, or use, one that it suggests. Hit create account. Then it's just going to verify. No thanks. And then it's going to say it's sent an email to me. And we're just going to click this one here, verifying our email. Easy as that. Now we are verified. We're set up within our account. Now you guys don't need to worry about any of this. This is just, it's playground. So as in, you can play around with the code, but I'm guessing a lot of you aren't, doing code and everything. So this is not going to be applicable or needed. All you do is just click API keys, then click this one here, copy that, then go back to your Base44, and then just paste that in there. Just double check. I'm just going to do a little copy there. I'm going to make sure it's copy and pasting that. Delete that, and for sure press paste. There you go. So now I know it is that, and then hit submit secret. Look at that. So it said here, the Google search places backend function is live. It fetched 20 plumbing leads in Sydney in 1.4 seconds using parallel page requests with mapping, data duplication work. Don't forget to add Serper API key settings, environment variables you haven't already. We already did this. So it's just saying that as a backup, but we did that when it asked for it here. Okay, so let's go test it out now. So remember, it took about 1 to 2 minutes. You saw it live while I was talking. So let's just pick a, plumber in a random city, Perth, and remember, it took a few minutes. Let's press it now. Okay, so it looks like it is still using the function of that, because it should have done it instantly this time. Okay, so here again, this is why we need to things don't always work exactly as you hope the first time. So I'm just going to go through and talk to it here, because that, if it was wired up and working properly, it would have happened instantly. I'm guessing that it hasn't wired it up to here, like, for some reason. Okay. Okay, so I've said, okay, I just tested pressing the search in find leads, and it seems to still be using the AI LMM path instead of Serper path, as it took a while to find the leads. Can you please check? Just see what it says there. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so it's done that. Now there's just one thing that I will say to it, and I'd recommend you guys do as well, is actually, we'll test it first, actually. Let's test it first. Plumbing, and then Newcastle, Australia, hit search leads. And look at that. Instantly, we found 10 leads. Awesome. So as quick as that, we were able to find leads. Now, there was hardly any waiting for that at all. And, that is what we want. Okay, so just to prove it, let's pick another Brisbane and hit search leads. And as quick as that, we found them. So look at that. Now we have that set up. We know that's working. That is unbelievably fast, which is awesome. Okay, so what we want to do is quickly just say to it now, okay, thanks for that. It is now wired up correctly, can you now put in a backup function to allow it to use the LMM path if the API, if the Serper path fails in any way. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so let's see if that works now. Just so make sure it's still quick. Okay, so let's just test that it's still quick. Hit that. And yeah, awesome. So it's still the Serper path, and there's just a backup of the, the AI one like that. Awesome. So we have that all set up now. As you can see, it is, so much faster. It's amazing. And, that is going to save you so much time in, waiting around for each of them like that. And you can just go through, you can confirm here, look, that's a real website that you can go through and then reach out to. Okay, so now that we have that set up, okay, so, and just so you know, let's go back to Serper to see where we put it. We'll go to our dashboard and you'll see that, out of that search there, the few searches that I've done, I've only used 5 credits. So you're going to get a lot of searches out of this, and that's there. You get them for free, and then billing wise, you can just set up automatic top-ups, or you can buy, so you can add your card and buy credits. So you could do 50,000 credits for $50, which is just absolutely amazing. Like, that would last so long, so it's well and truly worth it, because even if you get one client from it, that is incredible. Or you can just set up auto top-ups where automatically top up every time it reaches a certain level, or when a balance falls below. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. But as you can see, unbelievably valuable. You're already starting out with 2,400, which is going to last you a pretty long time. You should find a lead that turns into a client by then for free. And then after that, you can just top up, or you can go through and, put an automatic thing on. But as you can see, you've already seen, it is so much faster and has improved things a lot. Okay, so now we're just going to move finally into just some optional things that we can do for the actual, these are very much optional. They can just enhance things a little further for the app. So I'm just going to quickly go through these ones, but I wanted to provide a lot of value in this tutorial. So these are things that I have in my own official one that I really use for myself, and they've been unbelievably valuable. So let's go back to the free prompt guide. I want to go down to our further optimization one. So we've gone through and we've done this one here, but let's go through and we're going to put in what's called a website health checker. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to go through and allow us to, when we get our leads sitting in here, we're going to be able to press a check button, and it's going to check whether the website loads for us. Now, of course, we could go through and click every single one in a new tab and then have a look, but I've found that it's far faster to just be able to go through, have them all verifying. And then if I find one that doesn't verify, which what I mean is the website actually doesn't load because of a 403 error, or it's got an error with, they've just a coming soon page, or they've, don't have it set up properly, so they don't have an SSL, or there's just any kind of error, they're the perfect clients to reach out to, because they already want a website, but they might not even know that their website is down. I've found clients through this, they don't know where their website is down or how to fix it, and then I just say it's a good opportunity, I come in there with a new design for them, or help them to get it set up, and then I can present them with a new design that they could do. So it could be, a very good one, like powerful way to, again, find clients that probably hardly anyone is reaching out to. Okay, so it's very easy to implement. All we do is copy this here, So just copy this one through here, make sure we get the full thing. So if I copy that there, actually I'm going to do tips as well, just there, add that to it. Go back here, put this in here, and then hit enter. Okay, so now it's just testing to make sure it works. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's have a go at it, testing it out. So if we go to our leads, we'll see that there's a status checker. Let's have a go at that, check status. And it's going to check there, and because that was I think that was one of the fake ones, so it's definitely not going to work. So there you go, that would be perfect, unreachable, because it isn't actually a real website, so that's why that one wouldn't have loaded. But let's show it for, let's make sure it's integrated it for here. So let's just put in electrician, and then Sydney. Let's go Melbourne. And then test that out with 20, so that one of them probably has an issue. Now let's go through, check a few, and just see if any don't load. Okay. Okay, so we've ended up with 2 here that say they're unreachable. If we check them, okay, so they're very slow to load, I'm noticing. So that could have, so there you go. So, you know, if you wanted to come in from a SEO angle, you could probably go on that. So that's why it's flagged as unreachable, because it's been beyond the normal time to reach out. So just know that some of the unreachable ones might not mean that it's broken. It just means it's very slow to load. So, you know, as you saw with this one here for our lead CRM, it's actually a broken one. We click that, and it is a real broken website. So unreachable might still have a website, but it just might be slow. So that would be an angle to reach out anyway. But, you know, we've also got the ones that really are broken. Okay, so they'd be perfect to reach out to. Okay, so that's that into, you know, put in. Okay, so we've added that. Now, you obviously could, if you wanted, you could ask it to add a bulk website check. So you could say, can we add a bulk website checker to the find leads and leads CRM for checking website status. You could say something like that, hit enter, go through and get it done, and then, you know, get that imported. But that's going to be beyond, you know, the tutorial. You've got, it's still helpful enough to be able to go through and click verify, but a bulk would obviously make it even faster. But I'll leave that up to you guys to do. If you want to do it, you understand how to do it, and if anything ever goes wrong, remember you can go back here and go back before it, or you can just simply click, when you set it here, you can simply click revert, and it will go back to that stage. Okay, so let's keep moving through. So the final one we want to do here is a no website enhancement checker, because right now, when we go to no website filter, that is just something about Serper when it's set up. You know, so these are the 2 caveats. Serper likely won't return any results for no website. Oh, we didn't do a country. So if I do city, sorry. What's missing? Oh, we need a niche. So if I do this though, and I'll show you. So if I hit search leads, it likely will not find any results. You know, hit this, and that's because it's really saying it's not finding any businesses with our websites, because, it's not always common that, there's plenty out there, but if they're on Google Business Profile, a lot of the time they might not, they actually have a website. And if it's pulling it from Serper, it can sometimes, only prioritize ones that have the websites. However, then there's also the AI path, which we have as our default. And that one, can sometimes return things, but 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it's just hallucinating and actually do have websites. So what I've found, and I personally use in my own one, is to actually hook it up to something called Apify. So what Apify is essentially a scraping tool, so that communicates with AI. As you can see here, you can read it in your time. But this is the most powerful scraper API that you can put on. It's what I use for my own one, and I've found just incredible, leads through this, especially, if we hook it up through our no website filter. And so the only thing is that it does cost money. So if we go to pricing, you'll see for free, you start off with $5 to spend, which will still get you, a decent amount of searches, and you'll probably find a lead in that. And then it moves to $29 a month, which is still very, very good money. And I personally have been on that for myself before. The good thing is you could, at any time, you can actually cancel the plan. You'll keep the $29 and you keep spending it. But $29 will well and truly get you enough. And as you're going to see in a moment, it is very powerful. And especially if we use it only for this is what we're setting it up for. If we only use it for finding no websites, and everything else will be hooked up to work with Serper. So as in, if I go to either, it'll use Serper, which is very cheap. But if I choose no website, we can set it up so it uses Apify for that. And then you're going to see that it's actually going to return really good results that most of the time, wouldn't come up. Okay, so just before we do that, so I can prove that, you already saw. So massage is an industry that often doesn't have websites. So massage, and let's just hit 20 here and just see if it comes with anything. Exactly, no results. But you'll see in a moment when we hook up Apify, it will actually find some, I promise you. I'd nearly put money on it. Okay, so if we go to here, and all we need to do is set this up. And again, this is completely optional, but this will just take things to another level. And this is especially if you're an agency or you're serious about reaching out to a lot of businesses. Just so you got ideas too, you could hook up your own TikTok scraper, Instagram scraper, Facebook. That's beyond the scope of this tutorial, but you could set that up so that you could do that for using that to find leads as well. But I'll leave that up to you. But you're going to learn at least how to set up Apify API, and it's super, super easy. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to go through to here, and we're going to copy this whole prompt here. Copy that, and you're going to go back to here, and you're going to go here, place it in there, and hit send that. Okay, so it's going to ask us for our Apify key. So we're going to copy this one here. Paste that in there. Then we're going to sign up. Then once you're signed up here, just doesn't really matter. Username, thoughtful movie. There you go. That'll do. Let's make it Isaac Design. Make that up. Cool. Doesn't really matter, but hit continue. And then there you go. So default API token credit created. You start off with $5, and that's going to be well and truly. And then when you need, you can upgrade. That's going to give you a good little start. So all we need to do is just simply hit copy here. Make sure we're copying the API token. Come back here, paste it in there. Again, actually, I'm going to do this. Copy it, and then make sure when I'm pasting it, I know that it's pasting that, and then hit that. Okay, go through and do this. Okay, so it said here that it works perfectly. It returns 7 plumber leads in Melbourne with no websites, each with business name, da 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 da. So let's test it for ourselves. Do the industry we did before. So do massage, and then we'll do Melbourne, and let's go to 20 to give it a chance to find them. It won't find 20, but it just broadens it a bit. No website. Now let's test that out. I didn't find any. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay, so I'm guessing the funny thing has happened again where it hasn't actually wired it up yet. Okay, so let's just check. Okay, I'm going to say to it, okay, just tried it. It could be that there isn't any email like coming up for that, but I'm willing to bet there is one. So I'm going to go, let's just try Plumber Melbourne then. It was just before I jump the gun and think that it's not finding any. Let's try this. Yeah, no, it's definitely not hooked up. So, okay, I just tried it and it didn't return anything for me when choosing no website filter. Can you please ensure you set it up fully and that it is set to use Apify when no website filter is selected? Okay, let's have a go. Yeah, exactly. So this is the thing. It's not always perfect, Base44. It's amazing, but dealing with AI sometimes can make mistakes or it overlooks things, or it needs you to say exactly what you need every single time. And unless so, it won't do it. So this time, now selecting no website filter adds a route to Apify function. So let's test out that. So let's go massage Melbourne, because I'm only doing that because they're very typical massage places to not have a website. And let's see what happens. Now this is going to take a little bit longer because now it's using Apify to do this, and this takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to take 1 minute to 2 minutes, especially if it's trying to find ones without websites. So there's no way around that. We can't speed that up, but this can be, it's worth it if you're going to find ones without websites because they're the easiest usually to go to. So here we go. So it says thinks it found 25 web businesses without websites. Let's see how accurate that is. So we go to Lotus Chinese, Blissful Body Massage Melbourne. There you go. So they don't have a website. Yeah, perfect. So we've just found is the massager, you're not normally going to find this many. Massage, just for those of you out there that want to know, massage is an industry that are, they a lot of the time do not have a website. They just overlook it, especially in a big city like Melbourne. It's very common. So I knew that it was going to come up. And you guys saw before, it didn't return any. And now we're returning real websites, businesses without websites. So let's go to, an industry like plumbing and see what that returns. Okay, so here we go. Here's another plumbing, Melbourne. Remember, we didn't return anything before, and we've got now these ones. So Absolute Wiring Solutions, they've got 5 rating and 2 reviews. Let's go on with about 5 ratings, 14, and let's try these out. So A&A, the only way, because if they don't have a website, if that's true, the only way we're going to find them is put these in here, into search, and A&A Drainage Melbourne. So yeah, they don't have a website. They've just got a thing here, and they've just got a high pages. So these guys would be perfect to reach out to. So see, you now understand what I mean. These are all, web businesses. So look at this one. Everybody's got 1.1. Okay, so we probably wouldn't want to reach out to that because there's a reason that he's got that low. We might not want to, no one would go for them, but 4.3 or 5 and 11, these are real people without businesses that are out there, in a city like Melbourne, and they're operating without a website in this day and age. They're probably great people, or they're just getting started, and these are great ones to reach out to. This would normally take you hours upon hours, days upon days to even find a few that didn't actually have websites. Now with this installed, whenever you click the no website filter and you put the back end for Apify, it is now going to go through and find those. Now let's just check in accounts, see how much money we spent doing that, just so you guys are aware. So I spent $1.20 out of my $5 finding those leads. So that's why you probably wouldn't want to put it on 20. You might put it on 5 or 10 and use it. But, you know, $1.20 out of, you know, out of 11 businesses without websites, you know, the odds of you getting one of them is pretty high, at least one of them out of 10 or 11, if you know how to outreach, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Then, you know, these guys would be, you know, pretty easy to at least one of them get a website. So $1.20 to make, you know, 900, 1,000, 1,500, whatever you charge, I'm going to pay that any day. Okay. So that is how we set up the no website filter there like that. So perfectly like that, we now have the ability to go through and have that hooked up for us there like that for there. Okay, so that is then done with the, you know, we now officially have our very own CRM, an unbelievably powerful one. Now, if you followed all the way to here, you've done each of these API integrations, you know, you've done something that is above and beyond. So you've got, you know, the AI as the default. So, you know, that's the slow search. We can go through, that's what we did first. Or if you just followed through to here and did it that way. But then we also have Serper now installed, which we know is very cheap. We get a lot of free credits at the beginning and it's very easy to top up. It doesn't cost us much. And then it means we've sped it up with accurate results, super quick in seconds. And now we finally have also a no website filter. As you saw, it was returning real website businesses without websites, which are some of the absolute gold to reach out to. And, you know, that is in itself unbelievably valuable. Okay. So now that we've done all that, you know, big pat on the back. You should be super proud of yourself. You know, thank you for watching this tutorial, and I give you, you know, and if you've taken value from it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, because I'm going to be making even more videos. Okay, so now one final thing I did want to share with you. You know, those of you that have made it to the end of the tutorial, again, big pat on the back for making it this far. You've now got your very own, you know, lead generation app, your own CRM, and you should be super proud of it. You've got your own skill set in order to, you know how to create apps. Now, I know there's going to be, though, for some of you out there that either something didn't work, you've got lost along the way, or, you know, just you just want to know that it's, you know, you feel like you maybe didn't build it properly, or you want to speed things up, then that is why I've got this last little thing that I wanted to show you guys. So in the description below, you're going to see a link to Lead Engine Complete, which is essentially this entire lead engine machine that we've built out today, but ready to go, built out, ready to go. And with a few little refinements, nothing extra added, and just a few little extra refinements to, you know, help to streamline things for you further. So I'm just going to quickly show you inside of what this Lead Engine Complete looks like. You know, I'm not saying that you have to get this or anything like that. I just want to show it to you, and you can decide from there whether it is valuable to you to have it. But you've already got all the skills. You've learned how to do this for free. You can go back through the video as many times as you want. There's no, you know, it doesn't worry me. You know, that's why I created this tutorial. But I also know there's a percentage of you that just prefer to have things, you know, done for you. Those of you just want to start getting clients, you know, you see the value in it, but you don't want to spend the time building it, or you just want to get something that you know is built and just works for you. That is why I've got the complete lead engine ready to go for you. So if we have a look here, this is ready to go lead engine here. Now you see color wise, I've gone through, you know, nice clean design. We can scroll through each of these here. So we've got find leads. Now I'm going to walk you through this here, but we've got, you know, we've got the work And then you'll see here we've got the working, search function, which I've battle tested it to make sure that it works. It's all hooked up. Got the lead CRM. We've got all that ready to go. We've got the add leads. We've got the screenshot. We've got the import leads. And then we've got one final settings here, which is the search settings. And we've actually got this built in here. This is for you not to, just, go in as a user of this app, but I'm actually giving you the template ready to go that you can install with it all set up ready to go. And what I've included because of that is a 3-tier setting here. So you can choose beginner mode. So what this does, if you select this one, it'll just do no API keys required. You can just do the easy AI only LLM beginner thing that we walk through in the tutorial. Or if you want to have a professional mode, you've got the Serper path, and you can select this, and it will use AI and Serper once you put in the AI key, and it will ask you for those requirements. Or the agency mode, where it's AI, Serper and Apify all in one. And so when you turn those on, as you'll see, if we go to find leads, it will say up here which you're under, and you can do that. And so just having that means that you can easily control the different ones. Even if you wanted all these, but then you wanted to go back to beginner mode, you could go back to that, and it would mean you're not using your credits and things like that for, Serper and Apify all the time. So, I just wanted to make that, if I was going to make it available to the public for you guys to use and make your own, because, you would purchase this, it would be completely your own. You can do with it what you will. You would come into it and you'd be able to continue editing it, but you would just have it all ready to go that you could do it from there. You could go away and sell it to others. You can do whatever you want with it. I am simply, I'm not interested in creating my own SaaS software of this one, at least not like right now. And so, it's up to you what you want to do with it. So, but this app would be completely your own. You would be able to log in and you would be able to continue to edit it in Base44. So it would be open up in Base44. So this app would be completely your own. You can still continue to edit it from here with everything that I've done for it in the back end to make sure that it all works with the full history here. And you can go through and, completely make it your own. All you would need to do is add in the APIs like we did in the tutorial, and it'll be set, ready to go. And I've got, on top of that, with it, I also want to give, because I want to give a lot of value. So, you would get the template ready to go, but I'm also going to have a prompt pack included with it, with outreach prompts, with follow-up prompts, with like an overview of how I approach my outreach, a bit on information on my, web design principles, and, so much more. So I wanted to make it as valuable as possible if I was going to be, giving this away. But, again, it is completely optional. It's down in the link in the description. You can have a look through it, see if it's valuable to you. It's up to you what you want to do. I just made that for those of you out there who like speed, who like to know that things are done well, and you're more interested in just getting out there and starting to use this and, go through and make it your own. So I'll leave it up to you what you decide to do, but whatever you decide to do, I wish you the very best with your business, whatever you're using this app for, and I look forward to seeing you in more videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in another video. Cheers.